welcome to Run the Damn Kitchen podcast. I am Michael Severus, brought to you by Hurrdat Media. This guy over here, Nick Bartholomew, you know him from Dandelion Pop-Up, Over Easy as well. This is the perfect setup for a podcast. We're going to do food, and we're going to talk football.
Fine. I mean, what better time right now? And look we got the football guy with us.
Yeah, that's
who
it.
Also
So
does food. The
food part is the football guy, and the football part is the food guy. Matt Vrzal's joining us. Piezon's Pizzeria, his baby, 156 and Center. How have you been?
Good, buddy. How you been?
It's been a while, man.
It's been a hot minute.
It's been a while since I've seen you.
Yeah, you big time guy working for cities now.
Yeah, I know. You know, I moved way out to Papillion.
Keeping Papillion
a long drive.
in touch with everything.
It is such a long drive. We are also going to talk to his boss, the head coach at Skutt Catholic, coming up a little bit later. Matt Turman, of course, former quarterback for the Huskers as well. I can't imagine what it's like the week before with the nerves, like, are we ready kind of thing, heading into the week before.
Yeah.
When we're taping this, it's a week before you guys play your first game.
So for us with the high school kids?
Yeah.
Majority of the time, I would say you're correct. We've kind of got a mode, and Matt's done a great job of building a program where the expectation is that. So the nerves aren't necessarily on our side. You're just going to play a game. Mm-hmm. And when you get enough reps and you have enough faith in your system, and the things you do and the coaches and everything that happens, it gets to the point where the kids are just relaxed. They don't get real worked up about stuff. Like I've said many a time, it's the calmest set of high school kids, and I've coached now for 22 years.
Yeah.
It's the calmest environment I've been in. You don't know sometimes if we're up 14 or we're down 14. So it's a good thing. And sometimes you take a whooping. They took a whooping last year at Bennington, and we'll see what we can do.
I was at that game. Yeah, that was a tough game. I meant more for the coaches, because in your mind you're like, okay, did we do everything we needed to do? Do we have these guys ready? This season is starting. I was thinking more for the coaches, because when I was a teenager, I didn't give a damn about much.
I'm just saying, as opposed to now.
Now I give a damn about everything.
So
today,
for us, it's kind of a fun thing. We've got some coaches that are a little bit younger on the staff.
Good.
So you can kind of work them through it as far as the landmarks that you do anything for 22 years. You know the landmarks you have to be at a certain amounts of times. There's always something you're going to forget, and there's no sense to dwell on. Or you panic, then your kids panic, and then it gets all wonked. So, just go in there calm and assess things as they go. Try to break as much film and watch and see what happens and make sure they're ready to go.
What's your favorite part? What do you do before the game? Like I coach a select gladiator team, so it's not comparable necessarily to high school. But those double bubble baseball,
so like
gums?
travel ball?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
That team's really good.
I don't want to.
This has been fun.
They win a lot. His dad got him into it's not his fault.
The beginning of the downfall of youth sports, the gladiators.
Hey, that's why I don't coach. I mean, why I don't have a kid on the team.
He doesn't have a kid on the team.
I don't have a
but he
kid.
coaches him. Yeah.
Then you're just glutton for punishment.
Right.
That's what I said.
See, that's where I'm at. What do you do? Like, what's your
You have a superstition or anything?
Yeah, what's your
I've seen you give
motivation?
speeches before.
I'm very superstitious.
Okay.
So
This is gonna be good.
I'll play. Well, baseball is my first love. Like I love the game of baseball.
What?
A lot of you guys are that way.
Football became an afterthought when their little political game got played in Grand Island, where I grew up. Suck it, Raiders. You're not that good at baseball. But I'm the same shorts. I'll wear shorts all year because nobody wants to see me in slacks in August.
Okay.
You'll just have visions that you don't need in your head, so I'll be cold the rest of the year.
You get swamp butt?
Oh, God.
Yes.
I love the phrase swamp butt.
Can you say
Swamp butt? Hey, swamp butt, swamp butt, swamp butt.
Are you on the non-cuss thing?
I'm both
like that
from
other guy?
Louisiana, and I can sweat.
You do not call that swamp, but you say swamp ass.
We say swamp butt. We never. I didn't.
Swass.
Ass
The
is
boys
actually.
in school call it swass.
Oh, I didn't. I'm not that cool.
Okay.
I went to Catholic
So
school.
nobody wants to see that. So I'll wear shorts all year. I have one set undershirt I wear for every game until we lose, then I get a new shirt and new shorts. Socks are the same. Shoes are the same.
Well, that's awesome.
I'll take the same path. I'll leave here at the same time for home games.
I didn't know this about you.
There's always.
I won't go in the locker room when the skill kids are still in there before they go out for their warm-up. So there's been a couple rainy games where I've just stood in the rain. Then they all go out, and then I go in.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Nobody likes
Just
the skill
because?
kids. Who likes the skill kids?
Say the same thing when I walk into the locker room to the boys every time.
Yeah. What's up, bitches?
Pretty close.
Pretty close.
F word might be in there.
I'm guessing.
F-word
I'm
might be
guessing
in
it
there.
would be. Yeah, I guess it would.
I know
be,
I feel you're a little more PG podcast than I should probably unleash on.
yeah,
So.
that's fine.
No, wait a minute.
But no, I'm very
You know what I can
superstitious.
do? Edit.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, no, they know I'm like that.
Yeah.
They laugh.
Yeah.
They'll walk up, when it gets cold, I get cold. I'm like, no, I'm not cold. We're fine.
Yeah.
It's all mental.
Exactly.
So
I've said that my whole life.
Wim Hof.
All temperature
Yeah.
is mental. You can deal with anything.
I don't know.
I can deal with anything.
Nah.
I went for my first 5 years living in Texas. I bought a truck, $99 a month. Remember those?
Yeah.
Nissan hardbody, no air conditioning.
Okay.
I lived in Houston with that thing. Roll the windows down. I drove fast.
Yeah.
I mentally, that stuff doesn't bother me.
You tell until you get sweat rolling down your back and then rolls down.
I mean, it's going to swole. It's going to just swole sometimes. You know, you're like,
nah.
look at that.
Yeah. I would much rather be cold. But anyway.
Yeah,
so
I do like being cold.
Get through that. They won't wear sleeves. They think that makes them tough. So
offensive linemen shouldn't wear sleeves.
Right.
You get held by them.
Neither should running backs.
Yeah, because they fumble.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, thank you, Frank Solich.
So we keep it all pretty easy.
Yeah. Tell me about the enigma that is Matt Vrzal, because you are kind of a Chicago guy.
Correct.
Right? You love the Cubs.
Yep.
You go to Chicago for
Bears,
your trips and everything else.
Bulls,
the Bears, all that stuff.
Blackhawks.
You love that. Deep dish is the pizza of Chicago.
Uh-huh.
You know, pizza casserole, as some of us call it.
Yep.
That's not what you make.
Nope.
You make a traditional thin crust
Correct.
out of a brick oven.
Uh-huh.
Why?
Well, it was something that I was fortunate enough when I was about 23 in Lincoln. I was able to buy into a couple bars and a restaurant. Mm-hmm. We served pizza at that, and so that's how I learned.
Yeah.
I think at times the deep dish is good. I think deep dish in mass volume around here,
Tough.
nobody's saying like, hey, you know what, I want to go. I want to get a deep dish every other night.
Right.
But they can say, I'll come get a pizza every other night.
Oh, yeah.
For us in our catering side, we're fortunate enough we cater quite a bit. We do some lunches at schools. So now you're into 150, 200 pizzas. To do 200 deep dish is going to be tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be a real hard thing. So, yeah.
More than tough.
We try to keep that way. We're a little more nimble with that. It's a little bit easier to teach.
Right.
The deep dish is a little bit tougher thing to do.
Yeah,
So,
tell me about what we have out here. What did you have?
So what you guys right have, you have one of our 18-inch, and it's a quarter.
Yeah.
You've got a quarter meal deal right here. You shunned the guest.
I did not
instead
know
of getting
that
a
he had
Haas.
his own pizza.
You didn't get a Turman, you got a Haas.
Yeah.
That corner over there is the Dave. That one's barbecue sauce, sausage, cream cheese, pineapple, and jalapeno.
Nice.
And that's a Ducci, which is cream cheese, pineapple, and jalapeno. So you got a pretty good order.
You
got a pretty
never,
good set.
I never was a pineapple guy.
No.
Until I had it was the Mahalo.
Corrupted you, yeah.
It was good. I really liked it. I enjoyed it. I never was a pineapple guy, but it's the cream cheese and the pineapple together.
Yeah.
I think that what does it.
Yep. You'll like the Dave. Have you had the Dave before?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I had it at the wedding.
Oh, that's right.
At the wedding.
I forgot that.
Crushed that.
Yep.
Yeah, that wedding was good. Joining us is Matt Vrzal's boss.
Yep.
Doesn't get to say a lot. The head coach over at Skutt Catholic, Matt Turman, former Husker quarterback, sliding in here. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah.
So he told me that there's no nerves getting ready for the first game. Is that true for the head coach?
No.
Right.
Yeah. No, there's some nerves. Yeah.
So we're taping this a week from. What's the feeling like for you?
Some of the nerves probably because I got a son on the team too, so that probably makes it a little more nerve-wracking.
What's your boy's name?
Bennett.
And what's he play?
He's a quarterback.
Oh, man. Poor kid.
You're
kidding.
Poor kid.
Kind of a family tradition. I
Yeah,
guess.
no doubt.
All
No
right.
doubt. Yeah, so this is a question that we were joking about earlier. Is he any good? See,
Right?
See, I'm
You
probably
got the
biased.
Here,
Here, ask the assistant.
he's an offensive line coach. He didn't like anybody.
What's he gonna do?
We as an offensive line group are perfectly fine when Bennett's in the game.
Nice.
The reads will be made correctly.
Okay.
The ball will be distributed to who it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
If he has to run it, he runs it. If he has to pitch it, he pitches it. That's all we need from our quarterback.
Nice. Athletic kid?
Very politically correct.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, runner, thrower, or what's
Good hurdler.
Okay.
Good track kid. Yeah.
So he's strong. Hurdlers are strong.
Yeah, he's pretty
In my
strong, but
opinion.
he's skinny.
Oh, he's skinny. still?
Lean.
He needs
Call
needs
that
some of
lean.
his-
Lean, yes. Lean muscle.
Lean. There he goes. He had my problem in college. I don't have that problem anymore.
I'm with you. I don't have that problem either.
Vrzal's
There's no
pizza.
doubt. Yeah, all this
Yeah,
first
exactly.
pizza. Yeah. So, is your favorite type of pizza? Your pizza, the Turman?
Yes.
What is it?
But I kind of just piggybacked off of Haas.
That's all right, though.
I
Haas deserves
I just
that.
made it
What's
better.
the
I
difference?
took Hoskinson's and made it better.
What's on yours?
So Hoskinson's is Canadian bacon, hamburger, sausage, pepperoni,
Kind of boring.
beef, and then Turman did what?
I just added the cream cheese to it. I like the
Smoothness.
Just a one-upper.
Mio Dio cream cheese,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
sometimes that gets a little too
good.
spicy for me.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
And so now I just go all meat with the cream cheese, and
Okay.
I just
Just
take
one-up
Haas
them.
and make it better.
Yeah. We didn't have hamburger on pizza when I was growing up making pizza.
I know.
I always tell the story. My wife goes to Colorado, and she's from here, and she orders a hamburger pizza. And they literally brought her a pizza with 4 hamburger patties on top of the pizza that they had thrown in the oven because they'd never heard of hamburger as a topping. I move here, and it's obviously everywhere. What is the appeal?
Yep.
You're a pizza guy. What's the appeal of the hamburger pizza? It doesn't have any flavor compared to sausage. What's the appeal?
Everything.
What kind of hamburger are you getting?
It's ground beef, bro.
No. You're used to those little, like you go to that corporate stuff. They're getting those little rabbit turd, like processed looking meat.
There's
things.
a place down the street from my house.
We cook ours.
That does this ground beef with onion and stuff in it that they put on their pizza.
Right.
That is, I'm not a fan.
Ours has season. We use seasoning in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you like onions on anything?
I love onions.
You do?
I put onions, bell pepper, garlic, celery in almost everything I cook. Celery, excuse me, I'm from the South.
The Trinity. You're the Trinity guy.
Yeah, I'm a Trinity guy. Well, plus garlic.
Plus garlic.
Yeah, I got to put that in all of them. Yeah. So tell me, what do you, I know, again, when this runs, you've already started playing, but what do you like the most about your team? And get a little closer to the microphone.
Okay, well, we have a lot of depth.
Okay.
Which is something we haven't had before. We have had before, but I think it's just senior, junior class are both pretty deep. So I really feel like we can get to our second string guys and not feel like we're falling off much, if at all. And so that's good because it gives some of our guys that might have to play both ways. We're still a team that doesn't just platoon. Mm-hmm. So we have guys that play both ways, but gives them a little more rest, keeps them fresh in the fourth quarter. And anyway, you look at it, football's a numbers game. And so the more numbers you have and the more guys you can get on the field, the better off you are. And unfortunately, we're kind of seeing a little bit of this already. It's also a game of injuries, and so the game of attrition, if you can kind of weather that storm and have a couple other guys step up when that does take place, you have a chance to be pretty successful. And I think we have that. So that's probably the number one thing this year.
One of my favorite things about coaching staffs is you guys are a little family. Mm-hmm. Occasionally there'll be some beefing within the family. What's that like, whether it's during a game, about maybe a play call or something that happened on defense? What's that like?
I don't say a whole bunch of term because, I mean, when he's on, he's one of the better play callers I've ever worked with. He'll get into rhythm. There's no need for me to give him input when he's in rhythm. I'm just in the way. I can tell. When I look at him and he's going to call, because I'll stand at the opposite end so I can see the play. When he knows, he'll see it, and he doesn't know he does this, but we'll run a play, and as soon as the ball is snapped and 2-3 steps are taken, he already knows where he's going next.
That's awesome.
Because he does this. He wants the next receiver over there right now because he knows.
Wow. So
he and I talk more in between stuff and then at halftime. But for me to get in his way while he's in it, I don't. Yeah. No. But we've MF'd each other a couple times.
Yeah.
And then
I like that.
It's great. It's great after the game because you just kind of look at each other and they're like, just give the point. Like, everybody's good.
What's his style like? I mean, is his style like, what would you compare it to in other coaches you guys have played for that you've seen? What is he like?
Probably nobody that we've played for together. In terms of an intense guy, he's super competitive, and we both got better things to do than go out and lose.
Oh, yeah.
There's no doubt. There's other things I can do than lose.
Yeah.
So we're out there to win. It's an intense, competitive environment. If he's got questions, he'll ask me. He'll say, "Hey, what do you think here?" I'm like, "Yeah, we can hit these gaps. Strong A, weak B. We can do these. Hit those. Whatever plays. I don't care what plays you want to run in them. Those will work." Yeah. And then every now and then I'll sprinkle in a pass play for him just to appease the masses. But no, it's he probably matches the intensity that, like, Ryan Terwilliger, when I coached with him and Malcolm.
Yeah.
Twig was a defensive guy. And when our defense was good, it was hand pumps and a very aggressive high fives.
Yeah.
Term will get some speed laps in if we break a long one. He's got the old fist pump going down the sidelines.
Yeah.
Then he'll two-step plant and give that one. So
the Tiger Woods.
A little bit of the Tiger Woods.
He does like the Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
If the visor comes off, we got problems.
Okay.
The visor comes off, I have to go down in between people.
Oh,
that's the key.
That's the signal.
He'll yell at him, right? He'll yell at him once the visor comes on. I'm like, oh, gotta go.
Gotta go.
Gotta be over there.
Who's your OC?
Well, I do it all. Yeah.
Yep.
So, but I have good assistant coaches.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Is there
Verse
one
takes care of everything with the line. I just let him go do his thing.
Is there one that you talk to the most?
Who do you call at night? Like when you go over stuff in your head?
My
Who's
dad.
the first call?
He's
Really?
not my staff. I just call my dad.
And
He's
then
been
you say
through it
what?
all before.
You say, listen, this is what happened.
Well, or and not always just even X and O stuff. That's just like program stuff.
Yeah.
Like, hey, how you dealing with this? Because half of being a high school coach now is not just the Friday night. I wish it was just the Friday nights. That's the best part. But, it's everything else that's going on to run a program and keep things organized and fair. And so he's seen it all, so I ask him a lot of advice.
Who's your second call?
On the headphones, Vrzal is on the field with me.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know if he would go up, and him in the booth probably wouldn't be a very good situation.
Yeah. No.
We had to have that on the mic. I think that'd be a good one.
Booth one time in my career. I lasted a half, and I was back down on the field.
Right. Would you break glass like a certain person we know?
Kind of forgot where it was.
Yeah.
And so I'm me. And we're letting them go out the window, and everybody I'm letting them go at's parents are right here.
There.
I was like, oh, sorry about that, Phil. I'm like, I'll be down there.
I'll see you in a minute.
So for a long time, Tim Lakovic, who's also the head baseball coach at Skutt, he was. I talked to him up in the booth, and just like 2 years ago, he became the defensive coordinator. So he's not up there anymore. He played for me. He was a quarterback for us. He graduated in 2006. So he kind of I mean, we're still doing some of the same stuff we did 15 years ago. Yeah. So
how long you been there?
Since 2003.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I've been there a long time.
Almost 20 years.
I look a lot younger than I actually am.
Well, you'd be 46, right?
47.
47.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So
we all know when you graduated.
Yeah. Exactly. And so now he's on the field doing the defensive coordinator stuff.
Okay.
And so another former quarterback of mine, Isaiah Ramsey, who graduated, he was a 2-time state champion.
Wrestler?
No, quarterback.
No. Quarterback, yeah.
13, 14 when we won back-to-back, he was a quarterback. And so now he's up there. He helps out. He does a great job.
Nice.
He's still learning a little bit up there. I got to tell him to be a little bit more vocal. Sometimes I think he's afraid to tell me something and be wrong.
Right.
I'm his old head coach. He doesn't want to
step on toes.
Yeah, exactly. So
Nothing
he's
teaches
got
like failure, man.
Yeah.
Nothing teaches like failure.
Isaiah,
Festivity.
Yeah.
There's a couple times like, tell me something. I don't know what. Just tell me something.
I like that. I like that. I'm going to ask you a serious question.
Okay.
Not ask you to call anybody out. I'm saying, for example, you have a player, right, who you know is a Division I player on your team.
Right.
How often should the in-state football program have somebody come watch him or come talk to him when they can?
Feeling good.
During a year. Say it's his junior year, and you know this kid is Division I.
Step out
Stay
here.
right there. You're a Division I kid. How often should they be coming and making sure that everything is good?
In person.
Yeah. I mean, it is a Friday night. They're at home
Right,
7 games
so
a year.
there might be they might be on the road for games,
Yeah.
but so 9 games, I'd say 3 minimum.
Minimum, yeah.
Yeah, 3 minimum.
Yeah.
If you're that good and you're in state, they need to keep those kids here.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
That's everyone's opinion.
Yeah, you've seen a lot of those kids come through that we know are good enough. Like, there were 3 centers in a row in this state that I thought should have played at a certain place and ended up having to go someplace else. But you feel the same way they should.
Who are your centers?
The kid that went to Wyoming.
Okay.
Loved him.
Out of Aurora?
Yep. I liked him. I liked Patrick.
Roush?
I like that kid.
Really? You like the
Kansas State, Wyoming, the kid who came
Kid
to
out of
Nebraska
Gretna?
but then transferred.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All 3 of those kids could have played at
How
Nebraska.
many times should Malichi Coleman see?
It's not Malachi? Malachi.
I haven't seen Malichi yet.
It's Malachi. Yeah, go ahead.
You didn't hear a coach say that?
I've never heard about that.
Yeah, come on.
But, Malachi is a great name. It's out of the Bible.
I understand what they're thinking. When you have your program like in a little different trajectory, it's easy to look at the kid in Nebraska and say, okay, he's a developmental kid. We can take our time with him. We can get him in there. For an instant need, I think there have been 4 or 5 cases that they could have really hit right away and gone in and got him and done a nice job. For me, if they're there a couple games a year, it's going to mean the world to the kid. Yeah. Now, the part I don't like about it is when they come in and the kid gets nervous.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, my God, they're coming to watch me. Like, who cares?
I gotta be, yeah.
You're not playing against them. Just go play.
Yeah.
Just go hit that guy hard.
Yeah.
Move him out of the way. But it is what it is. They've got a matrix they stick to, and some of the kids fit it and some don't. So that's the way it goes.
That's one thing and this goes back to Bill Callahan, he'd always talk about, he said measurables all the time, right? And unless you can put one on the guy's heart, you can't tell me that a kid, just because he's 6'2", 290, can't be great at this level, because we see them across college football. Yeah. Even Bama has them.
Sure.
Even Bama gets those guys who are that, but they know how to play that position. So the whole measurable thing I never quite got.
I remember when I was walk-on down in Lincoln.
Sure.
And I went down in the summer to work out, and a bunch of guys went over to play basketball, and Will Shields was there. And Will Shields wouldn't meet the measurables.
Yeah.
I mean, what was he, 6'1"?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
6'1", maybe 6 foot.
Yep.
I just remember going in, and I'm a little, 165-pound, just graduated senior, and I go over to play some open gym, and all of a sudden I see Will Shields dribbling down and just jumps up and two-hand dunks it, and I'm like, I'm in way over my head here, right? He's a 6 foot, 300-pound guy just dunking, and who knows? Maybe now they're like, oh, he's not tall enough. His hand width isn't big enough. His hands are too small.
Arm length.
And we're not going to drop names, but Turman and I were down there at the time. You had a bunch of dudes. There were dudes down there that looked like Tarzan, but played like Jane. You can have all the measurables, like Mike Tyson said. Everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face.
Yeah.
And a couple of those dudes got punched in the face. Like, hey, it's nice knowing you guys. Here's my pads and my helmet and stuff. I'm going to get out of here.
Yeah. Is it difficult, both of you guys, as former players, to see where the program is now over the last 5-6 years? Or, are you watching on Saturday, getting upset watching the game? Or, what's the feeling like?
Oh, man, that's
you asked the tough ones.
You have a former teammate coaching the team.
I'll let Term off the hook.
Yeah,
he had Term's got a little more intimate knowledge of it because his nephew is Noah Vedral, who's not Rutgers. So, as you watch it, it's been hard, but nothing good comes without hard time. So if people can get together, find a core plan, and we can stick to that core plan for quite a while, you can bring it back. As far as the game goes, there have been seasons where I'm like, well, I'm probably not going to watch because I feel I care more than you guys do. And there's been times where I'm like, okay, if we button up really little teeny tiny small things, you're probably a 7-5 team instead of a 3-9 team.
Totally, man. So
it's a frustrating thing. People get frustrated here on game days because I'll sit down in my chair and watch I'll watch 3 series, then I'll go back to work. And they're like, what are you doing? Like, they're going to lose by 7.
Oh, last year that was pretty accurate.
And I just walk in the back, start working again, and come out in the fourth quarter like, what's the score? Like, we're down 14. I'm like, hold tight.
Yeah. You're going to score.
Like, now what are you down? Like 7.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
1 minute left.
But it's the things that are there to fix can be fixed. It's just, can you find those details in it? And can you take advice from people around you and say, hey, this is what we got to do to be better? So we'll see.
That's a big deal.
Could you be, you think, a CEO coach where your offensive coordinator runs the offense, your defensive coordinator runs the defense, even a special teams coach runs the special teams, but you're kind of like the overseer? Could you be that? Be hard.
I got to be involved.
You're the OC, if anything.
Yeah. When I'm done, if I give up the play call, and I'm just hanging up the whistle. So
yeah.
I don't know. That part of it.
Yeah.
We just talked a little bit earlier about all the other stuff the head coach does in a high school setting. I can't even imagine in the college setting. There's stuff I wouldn't want to. The fun part's the game,
right?
Calling the plays, game planning, trying to figure out what's going to work against this front or this defense or this coverage, calling those plays and trying to get those kids in the best position to be successful. And when I'm not doing that, when I'm just kind of the CEO talking to the parents and I guess in that case the media, that's not me. I got to be involved. So I know Scott's kind of stepping back from that a little bit, but I'm sure it's going to be hard for him. We'll see how it works.
Man, you do fine on the mic. We had a great Big Red breakfast with you and Cleat.
Yeah,
that was good, man. That was a really good one.
Yeah, they do.
They were just good. We call it the backup quarterback.
Yeah,
Big
it was
Red
a backup
breakfast.
quarterback.
And they were just kind of going back and forth. You hear their stories about where they were on the depth chart and when they got opportunities. It was one of my favorite ones. Thanks, it was a good one.
There's also the term trust staff and support staff quite a bit. There's a lot that will get delegated out. We've got great parent support as well. They take care of a lot of stuff that we don't have to then.
Yeah.
So.
How was Millard West when you and I were there different than what you changed and what you've done at Skutt?
Well, when I first got done with playing at Nebraska, I was an assistant at Millard West for 4 years.
Yeah.
And the head coach was
your favorite student.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Right, Vrzal?
The head coach was Dan McLaughlin, who later ended up taking the head job up at Wayne.
Right.
He's back there now, so that's kind of interesting.
He is?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
His oldest son, went back to be the OC for Kirk Peterson, and he had retired from Wayne, and so now he's going to help them out and coach with his son up there again. So he's back.
That's cool.
Kirk's fun.
Yeah. So I think the biggest difference would just be that when I was there, it was a completely platoon system, right? they had guys, and you only played offense or defense, and it was more like a college setting than like a typical high school setting. And I think here we just don't have quite the numbers to do that. You know, our best kids we want on both sides of the ball. Now we'll try to get them spells, and we try to have enough depth that they can take breaks. But I think that's one of the biggest things, just the numbers.
I know you don't worry about what people say about you or anything, but in general. But at the same time, when you guys win, right, there's always the like, well, they can get any kid they want to go there. And what
They
gotta be a little annoying.
Their enrollment.
Yeah.
It's like, who in their, by the way, people at home, who in their right mind, if people want to give you more money for your school, who's not going to take more money?
Nobody's turning it down.
Yeah. There's times where we're begging people, like, please come to the school. Please come.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's what we term came from a successful high school program. I came from a successful high school. We had success in college. Everybody will try to cut somebody down that's winning. And if they're trying to cut you down to me, I'm like, well, okay, we're doing something right.
Right.
That means we're winning. You're talking about me. You're not worrying about your own house. So you can worry about us. Say what you want.
Right there.
Yeah, it's
Say
true.
what you want.
I like that.
Yeah, it's true.
But it's the way it goes.
Well, people always aim at the person on the top.
Yeah.
Nobody's on the guy on the bottom. You know, I went to high school. I went to high school for a full 4 years, just like everybody, right? Played for 2. We won 3 games.
Yeah.
Both years I played, we won 3 games. That was it. We won a game my sophomore year against our rivals, Jesuit, who we called the Blue Gays. They called us the Sallies because we're De La Salle.
Okay.
And we took Monday off. We didn't go to school on Monday because we beat Jesuit as a sophomore. So that's how bad we were. But nobody was talking about us, right? Yeah. They were talking about the team at the top. So you got to be a little excited when people are pointing at you because they're usually pointing up. That's the way I was.
It's a cool thing, too, because throughout coaching, you're going to find a lull. Like, oh, this team. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Every week, the target's there.
Sure.
You are everybody's season.
Yeah. Saban says it all the time.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Says it every single day. Everybody is looking at us and saying, we're going to beat Bama.
Yeah.
We're coming in to give the best to beat.
And when you get the circle on the count, and you get beat. I mean, we've been beat. Yeah. That's fine. He says, sun came up. Yeah. we went back at it and tried to rebuild ourselves. But that's the cool part to me is that you can take a week off. You are their highlight.
Yeah.
So get ready because they'll be ready. So it's fun.
We've been blessed to be successful. I mean, and part of that is I have a great coaching staff, and the continuity is very good. There's not a whole lot of turnover in the staff, so the kids from the time they're freshmen to the time they're seniors, they're hearing the same thing because they've had the same position coach for 4 years. You know, they've heard the same thing all summer long, and they've been taught it the same way. And there's something to that, you know. But we've had teams that have beat us in the regular season, and they're dumping Gatorade on their coach, and you know, and it's a regular season win. And I mean,
treating like it's a World Series.
Yeah. So I mean, we've seen it all, I suppose. And you know, hopefully we get back to that, I suppose, this year. You know, we lost a few more than we had. Last year we lost 4, and the year before that we lost 3. So it's more than we're used to. So hopefully we get back to less than that this year.
What's it going to be this year, Verz? What's the record?
I don't prognosticate.
Make predictions.
There's none of that?
Man.
No.
Not talking about it?
No. We have an opportunity to play 9 regular season games, and we'll see what happens from there. We have an opportunity to make the playoffs.
I'll give you the answer I give every we have a senior meeting every season after the first Saturday practice. Mm-hmm. So we've practiced for 1 week, and we have a big meeting with the seniors. And I stole this from my dad. So my goal for them every single year for every single senior class for 19 years has been win 5 games. Right? That's it. Win 5 games. And so
500?
Well, I stole this from my dad because he said 5 wins means you had that senior class is going out with a winning record.
Right. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Typically it means in Class B you're going to make the playoffs, right? 5 wins will get you in the playoffs, and you get 1 more game. Maybe not 100% of the time, but most of the time. So they're going to get a playoff game and win 5 games. And so I tell our guys we're going to win 5 games. If we do that in our first 5, we'll reevaluate. We'll come together. We'll have another meeting. Usually Coach Verz makes us a bunch of pizza to celebrate.
Yeah.
We got to our 5 wins.
Nice.
And now we're going to reevaluate, and now we're going to say, okay, let's win the rest, or whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
But maybe that game, you know, last year we didn't win 5 games until week 8. Yeah. So, you know.
Less pizzas that time.
Well,
we
still made the
same
pizza. We got to 5.
Yep.
And then we said, now we just got to see what we can do in the playoffs. And we made a nice little run in the playoffs. And we're a few plays away from getting back to Lincoln, even though the regular season was 6-3. So, I kind of like that. It kind of grounds everybody.
I like it.
It makes it 5 wins for everybody, and then once we get there, let's see what happens.
Yeah, I know you prepare for everything you possibly can as a coach. Nobody can prepare for what happened with COVID. How difficult was it coaching, especially that first year that you got a chance to, with all the protocols and everything? What was that like?
Difficult. It was really difficult. It was. I know we had a senior class that was pretty talented that year, and we were coming off 26-0. We had had 2 perfect seasons in a row, and so that senior class was very. And we tried to play that down like it's not a big deal, but it was in their mind. They didn't want to be the team or the class to let that streak end of just consecutive wins, and so we won our first game. And second game we were going to play Waverly, who was very good, and we just had one of the situations hit with the COVID thing.
Yeah,
we lost our entire junior class. What? Like, we went to the game, and we were seniors. There were, like, 2 juniors and sophomores, and that's all we had. And so we didn't win the game. We had our chances, but we didn't win it. And so that came to an end, and that was just something, I think that was almost like the first wake-up call. Whoa, this thing is serious. Just football, and, I mean, I think sometimes we take it for granted just being able to play.
Especially those years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of my the big wake up moment, I think, with the COVID stuff.
Yeah, I know you never want to lose a starter, but I remember talking to you about that, and you were going to have some young guys who hadn't played, and you were getting them ready to play. You take some joy in that, right? 'Cause you love developing kids.
Correct. It presented a lot of opportunity for a lot of people. It's a great thing about football. It really falls out into life. You can be at a job, somebody gets sick, hurt, whatever. They go out, you go in. If you do just as good of a job, correct. Right. You do just as good of a job, well, now you ain't washing dishes no more.
Right.
You're going to stay on the line. Right? So if you get linemen in there, they're like, hey, you go be scared on Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're going to practice, and we're going to do well because I trust you to do this. You've been taught all this. You're just going to get it at a much more rapid pace than you're used to. It's going to take you a couple series to settle in. You'll be fine. And I'll never forget one of them that was in. He looked over about the 3rd series. He goes, good to go. Just go play. Just play. Don't worry about me.
But you got him ready, and that's what your job is.
Yep. Our goal is to make sure that everybody in our organization, from first to the guy that's the last one, they all know the plays. They all know the expectation. Now it's just a matter of getting your body stronger so you can execute and do those things better. But we've got some guys it'll happen this year. Somebody's going to get hurt. We won't make it through a season without somebody being hurt. Yeah. And you're going to go in and you're going to do well.
Right.
So,
no excuses.
Correct.
That's one of your themes.
Now talk food a little bit. Like,
well, first of all, you didn't tell us about this real quick.
Yeah. So you guys got a fried relish platter as well. So anytime in my Czech life we go to a family function, you have a terminal get those portobello mushrooms. Watch out.
Is that right? No?
See?
So
me too.
We took everything that we could find that would be on a relish platter and we fried it.
Nice.
So you've got cauliflower, you've got some jalapeno poppers, you've got portobello mushrooms, pickled chips, of course. Due to supply chain issues, our asparagus fries, we're probably not going to see those until 23.
Good.
But Michael's not an asparagus guy.
No.
But yeah, just something fun that we do. There's a broccoli bite in there. It's got broccoli, cheddar cheese, and bacon.
Oh, nice.
That's right.
Just something fun. People get a kick out of it, but it gives you a chance to try a bunch of different stuff.
So where do you get some food experience, like inspiration? Like, what do you do? Where do you look online? Where do you find your pizzas? Because I look, for over easy, for breakfast stuff, I look everywhere, right? Like, I'll travel. I'll be on Pinterest. You know what I mean? There's no shame in that. Where do you look? What do you do?
So for us, where we look, what we want to do first is just master the very simple basics. That's why. What was that face?
This is so
jalapeno.
good.
He loves jalapeno.
So that was we want to make sure we have a grasp of the basics. That way the 55 has such a long write-up because it was a story from the Peter brothers and I at a pizza place. Yeah. Still to this day. But we want to make sure we master the basics. As far as like inspiration goes, the Dave is on the menu because Dave Muller has worked with me since I opened 9 years ago. And so anybody that can put up with me that long probably deserves something on the menu. So Davey's on there. Ducci is on. Alex Narducci is on there as well. He's the Ducci that you're eating. So that was my homage to those guys. And there was another one, Scott Botkin, has been with us for quite a while. I think it was September 26th of 14 or 15. He walks in the door. We're in the little carry-out space over here, and he goes, Burrs got it figured out. And I was like, oh, sweet. I'm like, what did we figure out? Scotty goes, everything. He goes, I figured out life.
Life, okay.
I'm like, you're a senior in college. He goes, got it all. Not a problem.
Okay, I like it.
The Scotty beef 4 cheese is on the menu. I go to my staff. I want them to be creative. I want them to try stuff. We can go out and copy people. You know, we had an example that happened to us, and everybody's up in a tizzy. I'm like, guys, what's a bigger compliment than somebody trying to mimic your pizzas?
Yeah.
It's like they can't do what you can't do.
When people take the Pop-Tarts
Yeah.
and then they want to sell Pop-Tarts, that's the trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
But so I try to get them to do different stuff. They've come up with some things. Teammates, if Nebraska ever gets over 500, the Turman will actually be featured on what we call the playbook.
Okay, all right.
So there's 10 other pizzas.
Like just get over 500 during the season by the end of the season.
Period. By the end of the
So
season.
they win the first game against
By the end of the
Northwestern in
season.
Dublin.
End of the year.
By the end of the season.
Got to get to a bowl game.
But you got, you got Tony Veland, Damon,
Nice.
Term, Fat Boy Makovica, Phil Ellis is
That
on
dude
there.
is yoked, man.
I know.
Well,
You don't do nothing.
He's saving lives on a
You
daily
do
basis.
nothing. He's adjusting. He's stretching
saving
hamstrings.
lives
He's
on a
running
daily
He's
basis.
stretching hamstrings and rotating shoulders
I had
is what
nothing
he's
to do
doing.
with
That's
that.
all he's doing. But so just from some of the funny guys, we'll get people that come in and say, oh, you need this. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty fancy for us. I'm like,
That's everybody.
there's places down the street that are much fancier.
Sure.
Head over there. Tell Joe I said hi.
Yeah.
We're very basic. We're just a neighborhood spot.
Yeah.
You're probably going to hear a bad story or a bad word or two. You don't want to, but
Yeah.
it's just kind of what we are.
Before we wrap this up, give me your favorite moment while you were playing down at Nebraska.
Ooh, favorite moment.
Favorite moment, yeah.
Wow.
That's easy.
I mean, there's like national championship games you were part of. You haven't obviously come in a pretty big spot and play quarterback.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's a smaller thing. It's not always, sometimes for some guys it's the first time they get their jersey on. I don't know. You never know.
We're not that emotional.
Good. Because you didn't get a black shirt. You were
That's hard. That's a tough one. I mean, I'd have to go at the K-State game just because I got to start. So that's hard not to. I mean, that was
You knew Monday?
Uh-huh.
You knew
I did.
Monday. Okay.
That's all right.
I got
man.
bad
That's a
phone
good
calls from. I mean, I got people figured out. No cell phones and stuff, so they figured out. I roomed with John Vedral, and they figured out our.
Well, the number
home
never changed, right?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, they figured out like our telephone number, and they would call
Husker
us.
fans called?
No, K-State fans telling us they were.
So you weren't in the
sucked,
dorm.
and they were like.
You were in
Oh, no. They lived on their department.
okay.
They called us and they were like, they'd leave bad messages. And
Really?
Yeah, you're going to get your butt kicked. I don't know.
That's fine. You're good. You're okay.
You say ass is fine.
okay. And all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was scary.
That's
Well,
awesome.
I was scared. I was nervous.
Yeah.
So
Don't back
but,
that
but,
up. It's
but I mean,
scary.
it was scary. Yeah. Yeah, because think about that. You know?
Yeah, as a college kid.
You grew up in Nebraska, right? 30 minutes from Lincoln.
Nice people.
And Osborne is like your hero.
Typical.
And now all of a sudden, you are the guy to not screw it up for him.
Yeah.
What he's been going for so long.
Yeah.
Right?
This is it.
And my quarterback coach is Turner Gill. He was like, I pretended I was Turner Gill.
Had the
Yeah, when
12
you were in
jersey.
the
And now
backyard,
I'm like, oh boy, if I screw this up, the whole state's gonna hate me.
Yeah.
Fortunately, Baron Miles was pretty good that game.
He is all, yeah.
Terminator showed up.
Lauren Phillips was pretty good that game, and
You had 1,500 pounds of offensive linemen in front of you that were pretty good.
O-line
They
wasn't
were pretty
terrible,
good.
so I made my job pretty easy. I just remember I had really good advice from Coach Gill before the game because he knew I was nervous. I mean, everybody was nervous. I think but the O-line did a good job just taking care
Support,
of me.
yeah.
But he just told me, he put his arm around me before I went out there, and he's like, hey. He goes, he never called you by your name, right? He didn't call you Matt or he didn't call you your last name Turman. He called you by your number.
Okay.
So I was 1-1.
Yeah.
So he's
I
like,
love
come on, 1-1. He goes, hey, 1-1.
Walk.
And he put his arm around me. He's like, hey, just get the snap.
That's great
And I
advice.
looked at him, and he goes, just get the snap. And he goes, it's what you've been doing since you were 6, being a quarterback.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so he said, just get the first snap, and I got the first snap, and everything kind of calmed down. And, I use that line sometimes.
That's great.
I used it with my son
That's
last year.
smooth.
Yeah, you did.
My son was
You did.
We had Caden Becker was our quarterback. He's at Wyoming, and he got hurt, and we brought in a junior, McCoy Holtum, and about 3 plays into the game, he was starting.
He got hurt.
Breaks his breaks his foot.
What?
And now my sophomore son is going in, so we went down to a quarterback on the third one, and his eyes are big, right? Because he wasn't expecting to play.
Sure.
And I'm like, well, you're up, Bennett, here we go.
Next man.
And I just told him, get the snap. And so some advice I got a long time ago I still use today.
That's
great
awesome.
advice.
That's the best part of coaching.
See, that's a great story. The game's big, but you remember a little thing from during the week that even makes it greater
Just
memory.
get the snap.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. Your best memory?
Oh, man.
He's been
Like the PG ones or the R ones?
R.
No, I do remember you dominating one of the JV games against Air Force.
No.
Was that you?
No.
No, okay, go ahead.
We got
He was
snowed
already
out.
PG, it's R.
We played good, but then we were going to go back out there, and they got snowed out.
was snow-
They turned the bus around.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, that's crazy.
Yep.
That was the last year of JV, I think.
It
It
was.
was.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, then it was just a 2-game. We were just playing each other twice.
Yeah.
Wow.
As a kid growing up in Nebraska, and my father, may he rest in peace, was a diehard as they come. In '83, we're in the basement. We're watching Nebraska play Miami. We get to the 2-point conversion. He's got an unopened can of Miller Lite in his hand. And he's sitting there. It hasn't, and the play goes down.
go.
Drops the ball, tips it. My dad's not a big guy, like 5'8", 5'9", he said. 2 1/4, a little round guy. And he's sitting there and he just goes, and
Crush the can.
Yeah. Full,
But they were made of tin back then, kids.
full unopened.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting there, and I see what has happened on the screen, and I see what has happened here, and I looked at my buddies and went, we need to go outside. We
Time to leave now.
need to not be here.
Yeah.
So the passion of the game, to be a part of teams that won national championships at Nebraska, Miami will always be awesome to me because we should have probably won it the first year without, or at
Yes.
Florida State year
Florida State
without
game,
some
yeah.
calls.
Oh, no doubt.
But then to do it in '94 and off the field. So we've won. Their fans are pissed. So we're getting on the buses, and they are not happy. And so we're kind of getting in, and we're kids. We're running our mouths a little bit, probably more than we should. It's like,
you
know your
earned it at that
neighborhood.
point.
Know the neighborhood.
Yeah,
know where you're
yeah.
at.
Yeah.
Probably not good odds.
Yeah, yeah.
That bus kind of starts to go back and forth, and I'm like, oh, this is probably not good.
Yeah.
And one of the coaches hits the bus driver and goes, hit it. This dude just jammed it. Bodies go flying. So now we're all ready to roll. We get back to the Sheridan Ball Harbor where we stayed. Way too nice for us. So we're doing our thing. Nebraska fans everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to town. We're having a good time, and it gets to about 4 in the morning. We leave at 6. You have to have your bags out by 6. I think the bus is left at 7. So at 4, this little Cuban bartender goes, no more, not serving no more. And Christian Peter goes, you'll stop serving when I tell you to stop serving. And the guy goes, got it.
Got it.
So Christian's making drinks.
Oh, nice.
What?
So now we're up. We kind of like, Johnny's Ask and I were roommates. That kind of freaked me out because Aaron Taylor and I were roommates all the time. But then he had a wife. So then the wife came on the trip. So then Aaron and I weren't roommates. I'm like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah.
No offense, John. So we get up in the room and we kind of took like a 30-minute nap. And we have all these glasses and drink things that we shouldn't have. And all of a sudden somebody says, will you guys get up? And I'm like, look at John. John looks at me. I'm like, it wasn't me. John's like, it wasn't me either. I'm like, in between our beds, Coach Young is on the floor. And he goes, this isn't my room. And I was like, we know. I'm like, dude, what are you doing here? He's like, I thought it was my room. The door was open. So we grab our stuff down to the, but flying home, seeing everybody so happy. They lined the streets when we came in.
Yeah.
As a kid from Nebraska, it was a cool thing.
Yeah. Was the halftime, as they always tell the story of Coach Osborne telling you guys what's going to happen in the second half? Was that a great, accurate story? Because sometimes things get exaggerated. But was it that simple? He's like, look, we're going to wear them down. We're going to run this. They're going to
get a personal foul. Yeah, it was all
that.
Yeah, he did
really?
it. Oh yeah, he said it was like it's like a prophet.
Yeah, it's amazing.
He had called it while we were at home. He had said it during the week of practice.
Really? Okay.
Keep your head. Don't retaliate. They'll do something stupid. That's actually probably one of the things that I've taken away. First few years coaching Malcolm, a little bit psychotic. I always apologize to the kids from Malcolm because I was just yeller, screamer guy. As I moved on, I'm like, wait a minute. The calmer I am, the better they play. So if I just calm down, it'll be fine. So I try to not emulate, but mirror that behavior, and it's worked a lot better for me. I'm intense during the week of practice. Right. Game time, I'm like, there's nothing we can do now. Just go out and play.
Take notes on that.
Yeah.
When somebody tells you what's going to happen and it happens,
Nail it.
you're like, well, I'll run through a wall for you. You obviously
buy-in
know.
nowadays, and it goes through the roof.
He did the same thing at Colorado.
He did.
on the opening play. He said we're going to score on the opening play.
Is that the Mon run?
It was Mon Green ran on and he called it. He said we're going to block it just like this. We got the great angles. He says we're going to score on the first play, and bam.
Who was their safety at the time? He said he's going to come in here and we're going to block him, and it's going to be gone.
He's going to take a bad angle. We're going to seal him off, and we did. Awesome. And then it happened. And once that happens, the confidence of the team just goes through the roof.
Sure.
You're just like,
I got this guy on my
knows
side.
exactly what's happening, and they can't do anything to stop it.
Term called a shot. He did it.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. We won't tell you the team, but
every once in a while I have,
First play of the game?
First play of the game.
Yeah.
We're going to score on this?
Nice. Yeah.
That's
we run a little bit of old school, little gangster veer football still.
Oh, nice, yeah.
And he goes, we're going to run veer past first play. I'm like, it's a touchdown. He goes, think? I'm like, yeah, it's a touchdown. So we just hold out the ball. Fullback goes through. I-back's flaring.
Safety comes running up.
Safety was in the alley. Safety was almost to the level of the quarterback when the quarterback threw it.
Oh, wow.
And the receiver just ran by the corner. Like, whoop, touchdown.
All you heard him say was, oh,
Yeah.
Screened it.
He didn't even turn and run. He was turning. He's like, he knew.
like when somebody hits a home run over your head.
But
That's gone.
He's
That's awesome.
Term's got the deal.
Nice, Term.
Every once in a while.
Cool. Guys, we really appreciate it. It was
That's
awesome.
fun.
Pizza's great. Food's great. Great stories, too. See, I think you were one of the best Big Red breakfasts. So far, you're one of the best run the damn kitchens. You just keep bringing it every time.
He's a man of the people.
We appreciate it. Tell me anything coming up special that you guys are doing or for the football season? Are there game parties? Anything special coming up with Piezon?
Honestly, we do. It's a ton of carry out for football. We get a bunch of great folks to come in. We've got
early.
Correct. Call early if you can.
All early.
We've
Like
got a
Friday.
kid. We've got a kid that worked for us, played at Millard North. He's going to play at Memorial Stadium for North Dakota. Kason Kelly is his name.
Oh, nice.
So I got the staff some shirts that are green. Have a Piezon's logo on the front, and then on the back they say Meathead 42, which is
that's
his number.
awesome.
So, yep. So hopefully he does well.
Hometown
well in
That's
the
cool,
game.
man. That's
But
cool. You guys always have tough players. Whenever I come see you play, there's always an undersized kid on your team on defense who's making all the tackles.
It's the wrestlers.
Every time.
No,
Every time.
We don't have any wrestlers
No?
play. No.
He was just
Not
such
many.
So
Yeah,
many,
there's a few.
So many.
This year there are.
Sophomores, a couple sophomores,
Yeah, like the kid named Lips. It was.
You almost went Lipschitz.
I used to call it the curse word, but he was out there every game just making all the tackles. I was like, "Who's that little dude?"
Liebentritt.
Yeah, that kid's tough.
Liebentritt's at Notre Dame. He's in a competition to be their.
He was smart as hell, right?
He's in a competition to be their starting H-back.
At Notre Dame?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
No,
See, I
did he?
knew, man.
Yeah.
I watched him play. He jumped off the field.
And he's
watching him play.
And he's a national merit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I knew he
finalist.
was really
he's
smart.
like crazy
Oh, dang.
smart.
yeah,
Yeah.
good for him. That's awesome.
I was always nice to him just in case I have to work for him someday.
One day,
When you're running the New World Order, I just need a
I was
job.
gonna have a job. That's pretty cool. Matt, we appreciate it. Matt Turman, we appreciate it. Thanks for coming on with us. It's awesome. Matt Vrzal, we appreciate you putting us up here and doing
boys.
this. It's awesome.
Cool patio.
It's
Thank you.
awesome.
Thank
patio.
you.
Love
Yeah.
what you
And you
did
got the
out
little
here.
thing by here with the fire, right?
The coaches, the parents group made that for us.
Because you didn't start with this. This is what you've created over
We
the years.
started over here. We had a little 1,000-square-foot carryout spot.
Yeah.
Omaha's wicked territorial with pizza. Like if you grew up in South O, they'll like fight you about Orsi's.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
they'll-
yeah.
They will
Yeah,
fight you.
Yeah, I know.
Mama's has
Frank's
got their
Pizza guy.
pods.
Where I live, of
La
course,
Costa's
Midtown
got a
La
pod.
Costa.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everybody's got their own joint. This little neighborhood didn't have one. So we just kind of came in, toe in the water, see if they like it. It grew and grew and grew, and then the opportunity to move over here came. And then we kind of outgrew that, so now we're going into here, and then we'll see what goes next.
It's also nice that it's right by Skutt Catholic High School.
Does not hurt.
You got built.
This whole thing worked. Do you know how this whole thing worked? Lowe's. This all happened at Lowe's, right?
Wait.
Really? We were in Lowe's.
I'll tell the Lowe's story.
And I'm walking by, and all of a sudden, Verz is there. He's like, Term. And I'm like, I haven't even seen you for a while. How long have it been? I don't even remember.
Yeah.
We
So
were-
I was up. I had worked for Carson. I'd worked for
Yeah, that's a
Carson
great
Wealth
story.
Management Group, and so I realized I'm not good at working for people, and I'm like, I got to find something else to do.
Yes.
So some buddies of mine had this little 1,000-square-foot over here. I'm like, bet. So I'm going to Lowe's, Home
Yeah,
Depot.
I think you might have been trying to fix it up.
It was
weren't you?
Home-
You're
it was
buying
Home
some-
Depot.
Oh,
Okay, you got a right sponsor, yeah.
And so I'm in there, and old Term, and I see him.
Old
He
Term.
doesn't see me. And I haven't seen Term in 100 years.
I haven't seen him like a
the
long
last
time.
time. Well, I hadn't seen you in person, but I knew you were coaching at Skutt because I saw you in the state championship game. And so I walked by, and he's looking at light bulbs. I'm like, "You're telling me you can change a light bulb?" And he just kind of snaps his head and looks. He goes, "What are you doing here? He goes, don't you live in Lincoln?" I'm like, "No, I'm opening a pizza place." He goes, "Where?" I was like, 156 West Center. He goes, I teach and coach at Skutt. I was like, "Oh,
Oh, really?
You don't say. Right across the street.
Right.
And I'm like, do you have an offensive line coach? He goes, yeah. He goes, I had one for 13 years. I'm like, oh, shit. That didn't work out.
Yeah.
I was like, you got a consultant? And he goes,
There you go.
you can come over to practice if you want.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which it all worked out that way. And Big Dan, who was here before me, was awesome, dude. And he was super welcoming to me. And when I got over there, coming from Grand Island, Central Catholic people are a little bit different. That's your stereotype Catholics, right? Oh, they're the rich, they're the this, they're the that. When I was there, it's different now. So I go over to him, I'm like, I really appreciate this. I don't know if I'm gonna fit in over here. Like, I'm a little rough around the edges.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. He goes, it'll be fine.
You know what I mean.
I'm like, okay. So I go in there. I got called sir the first 2 days of practice more than I ever had in my life. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Then I walked. I'm like, hey, are you running the veer? He goes, oh yeah. Oh, yeah, baby. Went right in the beer. I was like, great.
Let's do
I'm like,
this.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
And then we had a crew of linemen that were real rough, and they were fun. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm in. And the community at Skutt's been great ever since. And the parents come over and have a couple pops before the game.
Yeah.
Just to make sure our nerves are right. And then I let them know it's 6:05. I am now walking over to the stadium to watch your sons participate in the game of football.
Yeah.
That you should be at too.
Right.
And they're like, got it.
Got it, yeah.
I'm like, make sure. So I'll tell the staff, I'm like, make sure they're gone by 6:30.
Yeah.
They're like, got it.
All because of Home Depot.
Yep.
That is awesome. By the way, you can't see it, but it says, Coach Vrzal, let this flame be our gratitude for the fire within us, our burning passion, the eternal drive. Is what is
That's
says
heavy.
behind
Yeah.
it.
That is heavy.
Parents who put that together, I think they had some beers and then came up with that.
There was a poet who had a wine.
Evidently we found there's a guitar player songwriter in the group, so I think
What?
that was
Oh, there it is.
Didn't know that at the time.
Well, I'm glad I didn't
Yeah.
sing it. That's good.
Yeah.
Coach Turman, we appreciate it. Coach Vrzal, we appreciate it as well. Thank you
bet,
very
bud.
much. It's been Run the Damn Kitchen. He's Nick Bartholomew. I'm Michael Severe. Join us next time for another Hurrdat Media Podcast.